Well, it is Friday, and what's that mean? It means it is Manufacturing E-Commerce Success Day, or maybe it's just time for the Manufacturing E-Commerce Success Show. I'm Damon Pistolka, one of your co-hosts, and right over there, that pretty guy, Kurt Anderson. How you doing today, Kurt?
Dude, I couldn't possibly be any better. Hey, Damon, I'm trying to see your shirt. What's your shirt say? Manufacturing Trailblazer. Nice. That comes from our dear friend Allison DeFord.
Yep.
Stranger. That would be another great guest for you on your podcast. She has Manufacturing Out Loud podcast. So, hey, guys, happy Friday. What an absolute honor, privilege to be here today. I'm just thrilled. Now, Damon, I'm still kind of coming off a huge high, man. We got together in person this week. So I stayed at Damon's house, man. I was hanging out.
It was fun.
Oh my goodness gracious. We went out for Halloween. We had a wonderful time. So Damon, we went to the Seattle Seahawks game. So thank you.
Win over the New York Giants.
Man, we brought them good luck, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
So, hey, what a great weekend. Thank you, my friend. You're a great host. You and your wife, Lene. So my love to you. So, hey, let's dig in. We've got an amazing, incredible guest. We got so much to talk about today. Let's just roll up our sleeves, dive in. Chris Granger, happy Friday, dude. How are you today?
I'm doing well, man. Doing very well. Thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely, man. We are so honored. We're so thrilled. So, guys, you're out there. Drop us a hello. Let us know where you're at, where you're coming from. We strongly encourage you. We'd love to connect with all of us. Definitely connect with Chris Granger here. We have a lot of exciting things to cover. Now, Chris, you are, dude. I was on your podcast. You're a fierce podcaster. I had the honor and privilege. I was a guest on your show a couple weeks ago, and man, a big takeaway. You are a masterclass on giving, man, and just serving others. That's really your MO, your mission. So, what I want to dig at, I want to go back in time a little bit. You're a man deep in faith, big family man. We have a baby coming next week that we're going to talk about. But being that you're dedicated to serving others, I want to go back in time as a young person growing up. Who was your hero growing up? Who was your hero that brought us to this man of integrity, this great guy that we're talking with today? Who was your hero as a young guy growing up?
Oh, man, that's a great question, man. I always tell people my hero is my dad. I mean, he is it. He just always showed me what it's like to be a man, how to love one woman, and just how to live with integrity. And he worked in the manufacturing space. He's still in manufacturing as a matter of fact, and just the way. He never had an engineering degree, but he was always the smartest engineer in the plant. I mean, he's just that kind of guy, right? I mean, that was back in the textile days where he would take me to his plant and show me. He worked at a textile mill, and he's like, "Man, we put PLC on everything except the Pepsi machine." He's like, "We did it right," and he's just that kind of go getter. But just the way he loved my mom, and just has always stood by, just show me just what it's like to be a man. So he's always been my hero.
Oh, that's awesome. What's Dad's name?
Bill.
All right. Hey, big shout out to Bill, and what a great job that he did. I always say, Damon, successful kids is a great sign of successful parents. We were talking about that with you and Lene over the past weekend. So, all right, big shout out to Bill. So, Bill, if you're out there, if you catch us on replay, we're sending you a big shout out for giving us Chris Granger, this young guy. So, Chris, what's happening a week from today?
Oh man, I'm entering a new territory. So people who connect with me and have followed the show, EECO SY or Lion, they know that I'm a girl dad. So I have 3 daughters. I've been blessed before. I get to raise 3 here on earth, but I got 3 girls, and man, I love it. I love being a girl dad. Next Friday, my world's gonna be flipped upside down because I'm having a son. So it's like, all right. I mean, it was like to the point when we had the ultrasound, the initial ultrasound, where they tell you it's a boy or girl. And I just told the lady, I'm like, just give me the pink band. I know it's a doggone girl.
Yeah.
But she's just like, wait, ho. Right. You coach softball, right? I'm like, yeah. She's like, well, you need to start practicing baseball. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's how it started. But yeah, my wife and I were prayerfully, we're welcoming baby Judah Levi to the Granger gang next Friday. We're going in to be induced. Well, she's going to be induced. I'll be there to support her, rather, and we'll have some. Hopefully, here's some baby cries. Sometime next weekend, prayerfully.
Well, dude, that's phenomenal. Damon, I think you still have that baseball right over your shoulder there. We might have to get, it takes a different grip, Chris,
a little different grip.
Yeah. You're gonna have to get a little adjustment there graduating from the softball down to the baseball. So, hey, kudos to you, your wife, your family. What a super exciting time. Great timing for the holidays coming around the corner here. So, and we send our prayers and our best wishes to you. So a wonderful, healthy baby next Friday. So thank you for joining us here. I know when you accepted, you're like, hey, Kurt, there's one caveat. I might have one little challenge. And so thank you.
Big challenge.
Hopefully you got the phone on you nearby just in case we
we're good. We're good. Yeah.
We're good. All right. So let's dig in. So you talked about Dad being an engineer. And so, lifetime, you grew up in manufacturing. Now, if I understand this correctly, you went to Old Dominion, and I believe you went into engineering in college. Do I have that correct?
I did. Yeah. I went to the electrical engineering technology program at ODU, and that's kind of, where I kind of got started. And so connected with EECO actually at ODU, because back then electrical equipment started, they had a program where they were doing some integrator work. They were starting to do some PLC programming, some drive installation, things like that. And it actually was led by who is now our COO. And he and I met one day for lunch. My dad connected us. Like he called on my dad as a customer. My dad connected us together. We had lunch. He was looking for a co-op engineer. We had an immediate connection over. I forget what we had for lunch, but I remember we talked a lot about Andy Griffith. So we had a lot of Andy Griffith discussions, and that led to, you know what, you got to be my co-op engineer. And I'm like, I love that. So he's been my mentor for over 20 years now. So shout out to Jeff. His name is Jeff Knight. Love that guy. He is just an incredible leader, visionary. So we connected at ODU, and I remember going into my senior year at ODU, I did 2 semesters co-op with EECO, and I texted Jeff or emailed him. I can't remember. I said, look, man, do I have a job? Because I'm graduating in like a few months. And that day I had an offer letter. And so I was in February. And so I had 2 weeks off between graduation and starting at EECO, and it's never looked back, man.
Wow. Well, dude, you're a rarity, because we're going to take a deep dive into this. So there's not many people that start right out of college and stay with the company. Typically a lot of folks are jumping these days. So you're old school, man. And hey, I want to give a shout out to everybody here. Hey, Greg Mishu says, go Gino, man. Gino Fever is,
little Gino Smith going on.
So we've got Diane here. Whitney's cheering today because I know her Houston Astros won last night. We've got Whitney. I said that. I've got Diane, Shashi. So guys, happy Friday. Thank you for joining us today. Please.
The other thing is Whitney says LinkedIn's glitching. You can go to the Exit Your Way Facebook page. We're there, or look at my Deep Pasalka Twitter. We're live both those places too. So
okay, man, we ran into that a couple weeks ago.
it's been kind of the LinkedIn live's been a little bit glitchy, so we may just go differently.
So again, guys, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, here on LinkedIn. So hop in wherever you need to join us. So again, thank you. Happy Friday to you guys. We're here with Chris Granger, and he's with EECO. Now you keep mentioning EECO, Chris. Let's tell everybody, what is EECO? Talk about the company. Let's go there.
Well, let's first of all, we got to get it right. EECO. All right.
Or EECO, my bad.
Right.
EECO.
All good. All good. I just don't want to get in trouble with my uppers.
That's right. EECO.
EECO.
I have a horrible accent. It's like tomato. So thank you for getting that straight. EECO, right?
Yep. So EECO, we're an electrical equipment company. We're a distributor in the Southeast U.S. So in Virginia, we have the Rockwell footprint, and in the Carolinas, we serve power with Eaton. We do have Siemens automation in South Carolina, but we're electrical distributor. We serve the industrial sector primarily. That's who we work. We try to service, and as well as OEMs. But really, that industrial focus sector is where we're at.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And I dropped, I believe in the chat box earlier today, I dropped the link to your website. You guys have great resources, your podcast, all sorts of information. A couple of taglines I want to give a shout out to. EECO is a leader in factory automation. And I love what you have here. The future of smart manufacturing is here. So just share with everybody a little bit about, that automation and, the smart manufacturing. Just go there on what you guys, the service that you provide for folks.
Yeah, I mean, we really just try to understand the people in manufacturing that we're trying to serve, where they're at. So we put together a smart manufacturing guide, and that has been a pretty good download for us. You know, I can even share that link with you guys if you want to check that out. But it really just walks through basically 3 areas. First, understanding what do you have installed, and we want to help you do that, right? So it's that whole servant mindset. So let's just do, we call it install-based evaluation, but just understanding what's there, and then just really walking through the different types of technologies that's available. So let's brainstorm together on the different types of technologies. I can't stand like the features and benefits puking. Like, stop it. I don't care. Like, seriously, dude, I don't want to see it. I don't even want to see your PowerPoint. I want to know how your solution is going to solve my problem. So we really try to take that approach with the technologies that we bring forward, you know, with them. And then at the end, it's creating a customized plan. How are we going to move through a journey of monetization together? Because it can be overwhelming. I mean, you look at all these different technologies that are out there, and you're trying to figure all this stuff out. And this is like a sliver of what you do. Like, you're never, you know, it can leave you very crippling, where you're like, you know, I don't even know where to start. So we just try to have that consultative approach at EECO to really understand and then assess and then provide that good information moving forward.
Yeah, I love that. So it's heavy on education, teach, and, you know, serve. You know, I really feel like when you're on your website, I was checking out that guide. I did put the link for that guide in the chat box. Again, guys, check it out. It is absolutely phenomenal. A lot of great information. I want to slide it. I'm going off script a little bit because I want to jump ahead. You mentioned, you were talking about Jeff earlier, and, you know, here's a guy comes fresh out of college. You're so smitten with the company, you know, young man, you know, ready to conquer the world. And you go to this company, and now here 19 years later, you're still there.
Yeah.
You're doing an amazing job with content. I know you guys have like inspiring authors. I saw like you have a bunch of guys are, you know, like Jeff and some of your teammates are putting out content. So a couple of things I want to uncover right there.
Okay.
Number one, what's so amazing about the culture at your company that's made you're so passionate and that has kept you there for 19 years? Just talk about that culture that they have at your company.
Yeah, I mean, the culture is just, it's been phenomenal. For one, if you want to try things, you can, right? So I've literally had, I think if I look back over my career at EECO, 3 or 4 positions where that position did not exist until I got into it, right? I mean, it just, we see a need, and okay, well, that kind of looks like this. Let's make this position and do it, and we'll just do that. So they've let me over the years be creative, which is really cool, you know. So I can think, you know, for myself and try things and try things without fear of failure. Right. You know, I know that, you know what, not everything that I've tried has worked, and that's okay. You know, that's okay. We're not going to just take you out behind a woodshed and spank you. Now, sometimes we will if you need it, but other than that, and I'm just kidding. But seriously, like, we can fail and be okay. But they encourage thinking, you know, thinking for yourself and not just checking a box. So for me, that's been it. It's not just checking the same box every day. It lets me to tap into that creative and try to find different ways over the years to really serve the customers and the clients that we hope to in manufacturing. Not to mention, when you're in distribution, you get to basically live like the show how it's made, because you go see all the different manufacturing plants. So it's really cool. So it gives you a lot of exposure. So I think back in my sales days, that's what I enjoyed the most about it, was just that exposure to different industries.
And you're in such a good spot for that, because there's so many different things manufactured in the Southeast, man. You just looked like 250 miles from your place, but draw a circle, and you can probably go to 500 or 1,000 different plants that are making wide range of different things.
Right. Exactly.
It is so incredibly cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I mean, from steel to paper, to, you know, chemical. I mean, it just, whatever you can think of, it's being made in the Carolinas and Virginia. I mean, it's just, it's pretty awesome. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So Chris, let's talk about your teammates. You know, you're like I said, you guys, I want to talk about like that transition for, you know, on our show, we love, you know, manufacturing e-commerce success. We talk a lot about that digital transformation. And so for, you know, a bit of a pioneer, someone like you you were just saying before we went online, you've done, you know, we're going to dig into your podcast here in a few minutes, but talk about like the culture that embraced this whole content, digital transformation, how like you, Jeff, and others are now posting content on the website, again, to serve, to help educate. But what was that? You know, was there an aha moment? Was there a light bulb? Was it a gradual? Talk about like that transformation that you guys did internally to start putting out this content.
Yeah, I mean, it all started with Jeff. So I'm not even going to try to lie on this one. Jeff is the visionary, right? So he started a lot of this stuff, a lot of the content. Got to give him all the credit. And then he made a hire in I'm trying to think, I want to get this right, 2017 or 2018. He made a hire, and it's our marketing manager. And you met Adam Sheets.
Yep.
And I mean, he's my brother from another mother. I mean, just me and Adam, we are just like, you know, peanut butter and jelly. It's a total, you know, we actually just care about each other. We love each other. We love our families. And Adam, when he came on as the marketing manager, he set a new tone. Like we're going to be doing things. We're going to be thinking about this marketing thing differently. And he put a lot of structure around it. And so when I had the crazy idea to start a podcast, you know, it got off the ground because I had support of a team like Adam. You know, and we were together, you know, he's got the marketing brilliance. I have, you know, the jack of all trade engineer experience, so I can bring some technical expertise to it. Yeah. And together we're just able to really make some really cool things. And, you know, I lean into the stuff that I don't understand, and I'll just bring it to Adam. And I was like, look, man, help me understand this. How do I need to better write this so that it would do, you know, perform better? And he can give me that. And then he can come to me and say, I don't have a clue what this VFD versus PLC stuff is. Like, can you help me with some of this technical? And like, I can like totally just like break that down for her. So it's been a really good, just the way we've been able to come together, he and I both, with those different skill sets, and create some pretty cool things.
Yeah. And what a dynamic duel. And again, I can't emphasize enough. I mean, to be at the same company for 19 years where we're hearing like this quiet quitting and labor challenges, and just, you know, there's been so many things going on that this is really a unique environment. And, you know, again, from the time that I've got to know you, you're just so passionate about the company. What, like, for manufacturers out there that are like, you know, dude, how are you guys doing this? I want to bring some of this enthusiasm to my culture, to my company. What's some advice that you would share with other leaders out there of how to really create that culture that you guys are enjoying?
I don't think there's a secret sauce other than you actually have to care about people.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Jeff, man. He actually cares about people. So when I've gone through the biggest trials in my life, and I've gone through some trials, right? Like I know Jeff's got my back, and he cares about me. And he actually, so the biggest trial I ever went through a separation. And I ended up being a girl dad for two little girls who are looking at me and going through a divorce like that. And like literally, man, like my world was rocked overnight. Jeff, he put a buffer out there. He actually sent a message out to all the people that reported to me saying, look, for the next few months, Chris is dealing with some stuff. I'm going to handle it. You come to me if you have questions for him. And I mean, who does that, right? I mean, that's just, that is leadership that you can't put, you know, a bow around. So it's just, I would say for your manufacturing leaders out there, if you want your people to stay, if you want retention, I hear a lot of people talk about retention and what we need to do to keep people. You can't fake actually caring. You genuinely have to care about them. And if you care about them and you serve them well, then that in the end, you're going to have some loyal employees that really show up and is going to give you your best. And it's going to be on shows like this, talking about how awesome you are. So, I mean, that's where it goes or happens, you know?
Wow. All right, Damon, all right, everybody out there, we're just going to, Chris, we call these like our moments of silence on the show. Like it's lunchtime here, you know, and we're just going to kind of savor that. But I mean, just think about that. What Chris just said, you know, here, Jeff, you know, it's Jeff Knight, if I'm not mistaken, you know, you know, has your back, you know, hey guys, listen, you know, a teammate, a brother of ours going through some stuff. We're all going, you know, it's life, man. We're all going, you know, it's hard to have that facade of like, hey, my life is, you know, perfect every day, every minute, so on and so forth. And here, when you're going through challenges, and again, it just expresses, and it works. And now it works both ways. Okay. And Chris, you are a man of humility. You know, you talk about serving, you and I have talked about gratitude, what have you. I might make you a little uncomfortable. I'm going to share, Damon, I'm going to share a few things that people say about Chris here. And by the way, hey, Nicole is here today. So Greg Mishu's dropping some comments, Whitney. So again, guys, thank you. Happy Friday. We're here with Chris Granger. Chris, I'm going to share a couple of things that people have shared about you. His character and sense of value give me a great sense of confidence. His character and sense of value give me a great sense of confidence. He represents the very best of people in industry, forward-thinking leader who is highly respected innate ability to bring out the best in people. He's a driving force of our team. Great leader. So, I mean, these are things that people say about you. So, and again, I appreciate your humility. You're giving a lot of shout outs to Jeff, what have you. It works both ways. So, like, do you feel it feels like that your company's like just bringing out the best in you that you're coming in to deliver on a daily basis? Are we on par there?
I would say so. I mean, and to the point around strong leadership, one thing I will say, because I don't want the message to go wrong, to just people think all you got to do is just like, cater for people. I will tell you one thing. If I've never been more challenged in my life than the way Jeff Knight challenges me.
Yeah.
But in a good, healthy way.
Yeah.
Right. And he knows how to take me to that point, and then he'll back up, and then he'll challenge me. So that healthy back and forth. And I pray that's kind of what, I don't know, who I paid to get you those nice things you just said, but hopefully it was pretty cool. But I mean, I've tried to implement a lot of that in my management style, right? I mean, Jeff told me a long time ago, like, it's not like who you lead. Like, anybody can be a leader, but can you create leaders who lead, right? So think about 2 levels down below you. Are you creating people who are leading, 1 or 2 levels down? So I just try to always implement that, man. And, humility, like I try to tell people, it's not thinking less of yourself, but it definitely is thinking of yourself less. So I always am constantly reminding myself of that and trying to bring that into what I do at work.
Right. All right. That's fantastic.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
I'm going to slide into, so now you guys have done an amazing job. Again, I feel pioneer, here's a company, so many folks are doing podcasts. Damon and I have had the honor privilege. We have this wonderful show that we get to spend quality time with you, amazing people here today. And I want to talk about what was the aha moment when you finally raised your hand and said, hey, you know what? I want to do this podcast thing. I think it would be cool. And then take it to the next step. Talk about how you brought it to the company and how your company embraced it. So Nicole, I know Nicole is working with a company right now. They're going to go into podcasting. Our friend Val, who's here frequently, she talks, so it's easy for Damon and I, or like say the solopreneurs, the marketers, the folks out there. Hey, let's throw up a camera. We'll do a podcast. Talk about it from a standpoint of like being internal at a company to make this collective decision.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so the genesis all started because I was managing our motor facilities, and that's between Georgia and Richmond. So I had a lot of road time. So it actually just started with, I think after about the 40th time of hearing Gary Vee say, if you don't start a podcast, you're an idiot. I finally was like, maybe he's got something to this, right? So, I mean, I got tired of Gary Vee yelling at me, so I just had the idea of, what, there's nobody really in the distribution space that was doing it, because this was back in the end of 2019. Yeah. And so I requested a meeting with a couple executives. Jeff was one of them. And I pitched it. Adam was in that meeting, and I pitched the idea of our whole theme is people and ideas over products. And I said, you know what, why don't we just walk that out? Have idea episodes and hero episodes and really focus on that, and not be trying to sell anything, just focus on serving. And then the engineer kicked in and started laying out the process and how we would do this and what a production would look like. And then Adam's expertise came in, and we learned a lot about podcast editing and all that stuff. Right. So then, but once we started, figuring out a process, man, it just started snowballing. Now we're 200 plus episodes in, and now we're actually trying to revamp the show a little bit coming in 2023. But that was really the genesis, man. They looked at me like I had 3 heads, but then they said, go for it. And that's all I needed. And we were off to the races. Yeah. We recorded our first episode in February of 2020, and then March hit, and we all know what happened. And I picked up everything, shut it down in the studio. We had kind of put some stuff together in our lab, and I brought it all here to my home, and we never missed a beat, man. It was definitely a God thing so far as the timing. We got all the equipment and everything we needed. Then COVID happened, and we were able to have EECO SY up and just rocking and rolling. And that during that time, it was real easy to get guests because everybody's working at home, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Now we got to work around schedules.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. Now it's getting harder. So, all right. Hey, bunch of people guys, as we're coming in the top of the hour, give a shout out here to our wonderful friend, guest, Chris Granger. We've got Dr. Rayad Douglas is here today from Dallas. So, hey, happy Friday to you, my friend. Diane, I know Diane, the Phillies, you know, I'm not sure what's going on there. So we'll see what happens. So, all right, back to Chris. Chris, you have an awesome name of your podcast. Please share the name and kind of the basis. I think it's brilliant to share with folks your podcast. I think, again, I put the podcast in the comment section. Just talk about where'd you come up with this cool name?
Yeah, I mean, the whole Ask Why thing came from, I guess I stole it from Simon Sinek, but so we haven't made a lot of money with the podcast. So I don't owe him anything, but I'm just kidding. But it's seriously, like, I have just a naturally inquisitive nature, and I think I've learned that when I used to sell, we called it fact finding and just trying to understand really who you're trying to serve. And I think that's just the why is where it's all about. If we can get down to the why and understand that, we always wrap up with the why on the show, and it's just it stuck. It seemed to work, and it worked good for the hero episodes and the idea episodes as well.
Yeah. So and you do a fascinating thing. So you kind of split it in two, and you have a tagline: "Our heroes are the people who build things and keep them running." Right. I love that line. So let's talk about. I want to talk about when at the last question you asked everybody, "What is your why?" Okay. Share some of the things, some of the interesting things, maybe like things that have stood out to you when you asked that question. What are some of the interesting responses that you get from folks?
Oh man, that's a pretty cool question, man. Good job, Kurt, on that question, by the way. Call me flat-footed, which is hard to do. But I think some of the stuff when I look at the individual whys for the idea episodes, I'm always just in awe at how passionate whoever I'm talking. If I'm talking about cybersecurity, power, automation, integrators, whatever their niche is, I'm just always fascinated and amazed at how passionate they are about their why, whatever that is, right? It just people when they are aligning their talents, gifts, and abilities into their passions, and all that stuff starts aligning, man, it's just incredible. Like, get out the way and just stand back and watch. And like, for the hero episodes, the whys usually are around family, which is always cool to hear. Hey, there's a bigger purpose of what we're doing for our work versus just trying to make this widget better. Like, we're trying to serve our communities. So, I mean, those are some reoccurring themes that really come up, and that for me, man, they just never get old.
I absolutely love that. And so, we're connected through our mutual dear friend, Jeff Long. Greg Mishu's out there today. That's a dear friend of ours. I know Greg and Jeff are working very closely together. We all come together through the Chris Lukey's Manufacturing Happy Hour. He's a Rockwell guy. So it's kind of like all of our stars are colliding here. Jeff, and you've interviewed like Joe Sullivan and, a bunch of mutual friends that we have here in the marketing manufacturing marketing circles. What are some things that you've picked up that you've learned from some of your guests, some of the exciting things, or, like Damon, you'll love this. So I'm on his podcast, and he keeps talking about Adam, and, like I have my little notebook here and I'm writing notes, and I never noticed this. Adam's like, "Hey, Kurt, I just want to let you know when you're writing notes, it shakes your table and your screen's shaky." I'm like, Dad, I've been, how many episodes have you and I done? And I've never caught that. Adam picked that up immediately. But, Chris, what are some of the tips that you've picked up from other folks, guests, Joe Sullivan's, Jeff Long, some of these other brilliant marketers that you've had the privilege of conversing with? Yeah, man. I mean,
the biggest thing is just consistency, right? I mean, consistency, bro. You have to show up all the time. There's just no off days. The cool part about content, though, is it works while you're sleeping. So, but you just got to make that good content, man. So, I mean, for Jeff, he talks about the video value bombs, which are incredible, right?
Yeah.
And so I've started really leaning into the idea of reels more and trying to do some reels and taking, snips out of our podcast, as well as just taking things I've learned from guests and making them into some reels that just we drop separately, all trying to just answer one or two questions, all short form type stuff. But, I think that consistency, when you look at guys like Lukey, man, Jake, Megan, all the ones that are out there crushing it, right? They're extremely consistent. They have a good, solid message. They pretty much stay in their lane and on who they're trying to serve. And I think if you do that, man, that's just going to equate to success.
Absolutely. So let's talk.
Yep.
So let's go from the management standpoint. So again, hundreds of episodes that you've done. Anything? Let's talk about like the how do I want to say it? Like, you know, the benefits to the company. Okay. So let's say there's somebody out there, they're like, hey, I want to pull a Chris. I want to talk to management. I want to talk to the president of the company. I want to start a podcast. But you know, when it comes to the end of the day, it still comes down to return on investment, right? So, you know, and with content, it's not always, you know, hard deliverable per se, but just share like some of the experiences, the relationships, doors that have opened from this podcast that would have never taken place. I know, Damon, you and I we've had the privilege of interviewing amazing, incredible people that we would have never had that opportunity to talk with, you know, so we'll test for that. Chris, just share from your standpoint, what doors have opened up for you and for your company?
Yeah, I mean, a couple come to mind immediately. One of them is an integrator in the Carolinas, and we didn't have a relationship with him. And I ended up reaching out to him and had him on the show. Come to find out, we went to Old Dominion together.
Nice.
And we were literally in the same class, bro. It was crazy.
Oh, wow.
So, but that led to a business relationship that opened up. That's what now a six-figure business a year for us.
Nice.
And then most recent, man, is there was some activity out of Rockwell and around some new technology that they were pursuing, and we wanted to know more about it. And so the CEO, the COO brought me in, and I was learning more, and I just reached out to my network within the manufacturing mafia. You know all of that. You guys know about that, right? And I was able to connect with the company that we were looking at, their chief technology officer and two vice presidents that we're having on the podcast to dig into the technology and understand it better. And from an EECO standpoint, that's tremendous value, right? So all of of our salespeople, our product managers, all that. Like, we're going to be able to put content out here very soon. We're in the middle of creating it right now and recording that they'll be able to share, for one, learn, understand this technology better, and then share it with their customers and have more informed conversations. But it also puts us in this position of authority. And I think if you're creating content and you're trying to get out here and get in front of anything, you're just trying to be an authority in whatever that space is. And for us, it's electrical distribution, and we want to be the authority in that. And that has all these different technologies. So we have to be very selective on, okay, here's the lanes that we want to play in, and here's the lanes we want to dominate, like smart manufacturing. And in those areas, we just want to be the trusted advisors that our customers come to. So that will be, hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah. That's so awesome. So awesome, because if people didn't, we just got to stop and listen, think about this a minute, because what you just said there is something that people skip over this a lot. Good content like you're producing is a very valuable for training your salespeople to be able to train their customers or educate their customers. I mean, it's not training, but to educate your salespeople, to be able to educate your customers better, to help them make informed decisions that will come back to you because you're the one that's educating them on these new technologies, on this. And it's your content. It's your interview with the CTO that someone could look at, a bystander could look at and go, well, you know, Chris is just out here interviewing. Yeah, it's cool. You interviewed him. And if you don't use the content past that, you lose that value of creating the information that helps your salespeople and your customers educate. It helps educate them and make a better decision. It's just so valuable. That's cool. So cool.
Yeah, I absolutely love that, Chris. And what Damon and I've even found, like, say there's a subject that comes up and somebody's like, hey, do you have information on this leadership, workforce, whatever it might be, totally out of my lane. I'm like, not my wheelhouse. However, and I've got a great interview that I can share with you of this rock star that we brought on. And so again, here's what I want to go here, Chris. So again, you a little bit unique because the company culture. Again, guys, if you're just joining us with Chris Granger, doing an amazing job with your podcast, EECO SY at your company, and company embraced it, loved it. You're a couple hundred episodes in. What has it done for you personally?
Well, man, for me personally, it's given me a really cool identity at EECO now, and to try try new things. So before I was in a transition between our service business and the supply, EECO SY was a really good place for me to land and serve and learn along the way, man, because I mean, for the longest time I was in the service side. I wasn't in the technology side. So it's been it's been somewhat of drinking from a fire hose at times. Like if you're going to interview like a CTO about a complex software system, you got to do some research, right? You better do your homework. So, I mean, so it's been kind of cool there, because now if you want to talk cybersecurity, if you want to talk power, if you want to talk automation, you want to talk controls, like I can hang with you. Now, I may not be the guy that's going to go down in the weeds, but like I'll be able to sit at the table, right? But the cool part is now I know the guys and the girls that I need to pull that's going to help serve and answer your question. And that's what it's about. Like somebody told me a while back, like, bro, like your superpower is your connection. Like you're a connector. I'm like, well, I never thought of that, but a podcast, I think Lukey, he said this before too. Like it is just, it's basically just opens your world to meeting so many people, and your network ability to network with people just goes to the roof,
Right. And it's a perfect transition, not transition. It's a perfect fit for you. Again, from our brief friendship that we've been developing, you're just the master class of serving. And it's just a great opportunity where you're just interviewing somebody and you're just really exposing their superpowers, what their company, like you said, their passion, everything that they're all about. Now, I want to, you have a personal podcast. I want to throw that out there, The Line Within. Can we talk a little bit about how the transition from EECO SY, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, I'm going to start this other podcast?
Well, that's a God thing. So, I mean, God, he just lays it on you. He's like, all right, I've given you this skill. I've taught you this. Now you better use it for me, buddy. And I was like,
enough about you, man. Right.
I was like, okay, yes, sir. We'll do, So again, that's led, God's, he opened some doors, and that's been an incredible journey itself. Like, the people I've been able to connect with. Jeff Long's actually been on that show as well. So he's been on, he's double dipped, right? On both shows, right? That's right. So, but yeah, it's that podcast serves Christian men in the area of leadership. We talk about health, wealth, and self, and the growth on that show has been incredible. I mean, the guests have been incredible. Like, bro, you won't even believe it. Like, I had one of the guys from Duck Dynasty on the show. Like,
oh wow.
Like, how does that happen? How's a redneck in North Carolina connect with a redneck in Louisiana? You know what I'm saying? So that's been incredible. Pastor Joby, who is Tim Tebow's pastor down in Florida. I've connected with some guys that God's just moving, man. And it's just, for me, with that show and the community that we're building there, it's just, again, it's just trying to serve at the highest level. And it's not the line within Chris. It's the line within us. And I try to make sure people remember that. And look, just trying to make better husbands, dads, businessmen, whatever you find yourself, we need better leadership across the board. So that's what it's all about.
Wow. I absolutely love that. And, the folks you keep mentioning, Jeff Long, Jeff, I had the honor of meeting Jeff Long in person last month or month before. And, Greg Mishu, Damon here, just, it's in all of our women, Diane, Nicole, Whitney, everybody out there, Wesleyan, all these folks that I feel like they're my accountability partners. That just, I feel like I have to be the best I can be, or be a better person just with who I'm surrounding myself with. Chris, I want to be mindful of your time. We're going to start winding down here, but you're a big, you talk about connector, and again, with The Line Within, what you're doing with EECO SY, but what you're doing is you're building community. Okay. And I know, like, our dear friend, Nicole, Damon, you and Nicole on Faces of Business, you took a deep dive on like building community. Chris, talk about why is it so important? Just, coming out of COVID, it was very challenging. We were starving for some type of community since we couldn't meet in person. Talk about why has it been so important to you to build these communities professionally and personally?
Well, because from a professional standpoint, everybody talks B2B, and I get it. I've been in B2B my whole life. Yeah. But when I finally flipped in my brain and stopped talking B2B, and I actually just made it P2P, so person to person, right? Yeah. Still, it's at the end of the day, you're dealing with people, and if you treat them the right way, if you actually care, if you show genuine humility, then you're going to be successful. It's going to breed success. But if you fake any of it, you're going to get called out. Like my wife says all the time, your sins will find you out. And she is right. It will show up, so, if you actually care and try to serve people at the highest level, man, good things are going to happen. And that just led into the personal life too, with, we were with our community at The Line Within us, like I struggle with connecting with people at our local church, but I have found that it's interesting, online communities that are out there, people are more willing to share, more willing to open up, more willing to just be vulnerable. So I don't know. We'll see where that goes. But man, I think at the end of the day, it's not B2B, it's P2P. Remember, it's all about serving other people.
Yeah.
Your sins will find you out. Is that, man? Tell your wife, man, I'm taking
That's
that
a good
one to heart right there. So I absolutely love that. And again, Damon, Chris, first off, thank you. What a privilege it is just being in your circle, being in your world. Again, I love your humility, and I probably make you uncomfortable doing this, but Damon, he is really making a huge difference, not just with what he's doing at EECO, but also what he's doing with this community. You know, we've talked about how, accountability, guys that are struggling, folks that are challenges, boy, everybody's facing something, like job loss, personal relationships, relationships broken, maybe addictions, whatever it might be, Chris. And I know like you're just impacting hundreds and just a massive community, making a huge difference by just, exploiting your talents, your God-given talents. And like you said, just, answering that call, because a lot of people can say, hey, you know what, I'm a little too busy to answer that call. So I really, Damon, I admire that you've risen up to the occasion and just taken that on. And again, just, I know you're a humble guy. Just share a little bit about like just some of the notes or just some of the changes that you've seen within your community of guys reaching out, just saying, hey, this made a difference for me.
Well, I mean, I got a guy, and I don't even know how to answer the question sometimes, Kurt, but I'm going to try my best. So I got a guy in Ohio who joined our community. He's vice president at a company. And I was encouraging him. I was trying to tell him that the impact he has on himself, as well as the people, his circle of influence, to just lean into some uncomfortable things. And actually, so he came back to me, and I gave him some things to think about. And now he's leading a group of 75 guys through a Bible study and devotion. And it's not just about what he's doing, but like, just think about the ripple effect, right? Mother Teresa said, like, I can't change the world, but I'll cast my stone and just watch the ripples, right? I mean, that's all I can do. Just cast that stone, watch the ripples, try to help guys. For the Lion, I'm just trying to help guys, be that better husband, that better dad, that better leader in their community, whatever that is. Now, I do wrap everything around a Christian element, and I don't hide behind that. So if you're a Christian and people at work don't know you're a Christian, maybe you need to think about that. Are they seeing your fruit every day? And I try to let my fruit be shown to others and really just challenge people, challenge guys. I mean, we had a guy last night at our Bible study who has a business decision in front of him on whether or not to enter this partnership. And I stopped the Bible study. I was like, all right, this is an iron sharpening iron moment. Lay it out. What do you really have in front of you? And he laid it out. And then he had about 6 or 7 guys just jump in. And at the end of that call, he was ready, baby. He was ready. He was ready to go out and make a decision that's wrapped in prayer. And that he has brothers around him that are going to come beside and help him along the way. So I think you do stuff like that at work. You do stuff like that in your personal life, man, and you just surround yourself with good people like we do at EECO, man, good things are going to happen,
Yeah, I love that. And just, doing things, regardless where you are faith-wise, doing things with integrity, doing things authentic, doing things with gratitude, doing things in humility, just, and just great things can happen. I heard a great line on a podcast last night. A woman said, whatever challenges, frustrations, devastations, tragedies, whatever you've gone through, you're standing here today. You've gone through and survived 100% of your worst moments.
That's it.
You've survived. I'm like, man, that was a good, you've survived 100% of your worst moments. And Chris, great things are ahead. You're updating. You shared with us earlier. You guys are maybe doing some tweaks with the podcast.
Yep.
Want to just share with us 2023's rate? We got the holidays right here. You've got it again. If anybody missed it, we have new baby Granger coming at us next Friday, less than 7 days.
That's
away.
what he's thinking about.
Yep.
So we've got a baby. We've got holidays. 2023's right around the corner. Share with us, exciting things, goals. What are you taking off with for next year?
Yeah, for next year, what I'm really trying to, I've been talking with Jeff and Adam about this a lot, is trying to get back to some more written content and around taking the show. And maybe we're actually going to be adopting a lot of, Marcus Sheridan, they ask you answer a type of philosophy into it. So I'm
reading it right now.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's right here. It's underneath this one book. You may know this book, but
hey, look at that guy. Hey, my mom. Hey, Chris, my mom thanks you for that one, brother.
Hey, man, it's all good, bro. Your mom should be proud of her son. But anyway, so we're going to be implementing a lot of they ask you answer. So the show actually, may start shifting around the first or second quarter, where it's going to be more solo episodes. So it would be me answering the questions that we get asked the most from the field, right?
Yeah.
And maybe they're shorter. There'll be a shorter format for those particular episodes. I still want to do the heroes because people love the heroes. And have those, but let's get real specific, real tight on the areas that we want to serve, that we feel like we can serve our customers best, and then wrap that with written content as well to go along with it. And that written content, man. And then on top of all that, some videos like the reels, like I was telling you about, how-to videos. We want to have the #1 digital presence for industrial distribution, period. And that you got to answer a lot of questions, man. And that's it. Whatever Mr. E&I technician is searching at 2 o'clock in the morning, I want this ugly mug to pop up, or one of EECO's ugly mugs to pop up and answer him, right? I mean, that's right. If we can do that, man, that's serving. And the next thing you know, that's going to be your top of your funnel. And then that will get down to bottom line sales.
You know, and man, thank you for saying that one, Damon. What's our favorite line? Help that ideal client, help that customer make a buying decision on a Friday night at midnight without having to wait for you to open up your doors on Monday morning. And Chris, that's exactly, somebody, who knows what time zone they're in. Maybe they can't sleep and they're doing a little bit of due diligence research. Give them that information at 2 in the morning, make their life as easy as possible. That's how you win the day. I know you guys are, we talked a little bit about e-commerce. I know you've got a full e-commerce strategy, and that's going to be hot and heavy for 2023.
Nice.
Oh yeah. We have a new, so we like pain and suffering, apparently. So we started we have a new ERP, a new e-commerce platform, a new website, and I believe there's a new CRM that's going to be implemented as well next year. So it's just like, I think we just like,
it's like taking the punches to the gut all at once.
Yeah, bro.
Hey, throwing a baby in there while you're at it.
Yeah,
right? Why not?
So big changes, but it's all cool stuff. I mean, if you're not making these investments, man, you're just not gonna be able to serve. Because I mean, you think about the whole digital transformation, the way it's happened in the plant floor, that digital transformation has happened in industrial distribution too. And you got to be on the forefront to be able to be a leader. So preferably our leaders at EECO, they do a great job of this, and they're ahead of it. And come January, it's going to be exciting times.
Awesome.
All right. Hey, we're going to wind down. And Diane had a great comment here. Person to person, love it. Stealing that like Marsh stole second base, LOL. So Diane, hey, go Phillies. We're rooting for your Phillies. Whitney, asked, we can't take sides, can we? And Dave, what were the odds that Houston Texans, right? We're playing Philadelphia Eagles last night, same time as
really? I didn't realize that.
I don't think I can't imagine that's ever happened in history of sports.
Wow.
Both cities were playing in football and in the World Series last night, so that was a rarity. So one team, one each. So all right, let's wind down on this, Chris. Chris, first off, thank you. Thank you. This is just such an honor, privilege. You talk about rising tides, man. You just make all of us better. You're just such a great human being. It's such an honor to be in your circle. We give a big shout out to Dad Bill for doing such a great job parenting this young man. So, all right, my last question for you, Chris. We talked about who was your hero, and you give a shout out to Bill is your hero growing up today. Big, exciting things going on next week. But man, dude, you are such an inspiration. I would love to know who or what inspires you to just keep this fire going. All these podcasts, all this content, your drive, family, being a great husband. Who inspires you today?
Man, that's easy, Kurt. It's right here. It's right here, man. It's been in my lap the whole time.
Nice.
I mean, I'm a man of faith, and I believe in Jesus Christ, and it's the Son of God, and He had the Holy Spirit, the lion within. That's there, baby. So that is my drive.
Well, hey,
awesome.
We'll just take a pause on that one, Damon. Yeah. So, all right. Chris, dude, God bless you. Thank you for sharing. I know you're super busy. So this was just such an honor and privilege for you to join us today. So guys, I just want to go out. Have an amazing, incredible weekend. Send positive vibes to Chris and his wife on their baby coming at us next Friday. Can't wait to hear that great news there, Chris. So Damon, I'm like a little bit flustered. Dude, this is such a great episode.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to close out, guys. Please go out. Chris is such an inspiration. Go out and be someone's inspiration, man. Just go out there, just keep that line within, as Chris says. Damon, take it away, brother.
All right. Well, let's just soak this in for a second. But thanks so much, Chris, for being here today. Thanks everyone that was listening today, that commenting on our show. You know, manufacturing e-commerce success. Kurt and I just appreciate the hell out of it, really. And we love that people are here and listening and engaging with us, and just love the fact that we can have people, inspiring people like Chris here, and share the things that we get to share, man. It's a blessing. We'll be back again next week with more great stuff from manufacturing e-commerce success. See you, everyone.